The issue of Alzheimer's research, it just matters to so many of us and affects so many people. We've devoted an entire week to the subject matter. We'll continue to do that today with Dr. Erik Roberson. We appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And in your kind of research, you kind of can give us an overview of what UAB is doing in terms of Alzheimer's disease. Just kind of bring us up to date on that.
Absolutely. So it is a very large enterprise, actually, that spans a lot of different aspects of research in Alzheimer's disease. The first thing that people usually think of is clinical trial research, actually testing new drugs to see if they work and how well they work. And we have a variety of different clinical trials going on now, medicines ranging from a pill that inhibits some of the enzymes involved in causing the disease, to an infusion of antibodies that would hopefully try to neutralize those bad proteins, even injections of growth factors into the brain. All of these things are being tried at UAB. So that's the most close to the end point of the drug development pipeline. But there's a long pipeline that gets to that, and an earlier stage is what we call clinical research, actually studying patients with the disease to understand what causes it. And we're involved in really important studies to look for biomarkers of the disease, ways to diagnose the disease at earlier stages. That's going to be something that's very important. And so we have studies ongoing looking at biomarkers in the blood or in the spinal fluid or imaging type biomarkers that would enable us to diagnose the disease before it causes really disabling symptoms, and maybe even before it causes any cognitive or memory symptoms at all. And then there's a lot of basic research going on, and that basic research is research in the laboratory using animal models or cultured cells to try to understand the basic causes of the disease.
It sounds like you all and UAB very active kind of in the search for just trying to figure out what's going on with Alzheimer's.
Absolutely, it's a major priority at UAB and everywhere, and it's a growing disease. With the aging of our population, it's becoming more and more important, and it certainly has become a priority for us as a school to figure out a better treatment for it.
Can you bring us up to date? Maybe some of the latest initiatives that you all are involved in.
Yeah. So some of the basic research findings that are going on at UAB, they're really diverse. These are projects that are going on in individual laboratories. Some are looking at the links between diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. That's known to be a risk factor for the disease. Hypertension is also, high blood pressure, a major risk factor for the disease, and we are working on trying to understand that link. We know that the brain has what we call plasticity, which is a key word that means its ability to change and respond to injuries and insults. And we're looking at how that plasticity, how that potential to change can be harnessed in Alzheimer's disease, or how it goes awry in the disease. We're also looking at some of the toxic proteins that are known to be involved in causing the disease. One project that I've been involved in is looking at a protein called tau. This is a protein that accumulates in the disease, and we've shown that if you can reduce the amounts of that protein, you can actually make the brain resistant to Alzheimer's disease. So a genetically engineered mouse that has lower than normal levels of this tau protein doesn't get Alzheimer's disease even in the presence of these toxic proteins that normally cause it.
Yeah, some amazing findings. You know, Alzheimer's disease is so far-reaching and complex, even and complicated. What's the goal of the basic research that you all are doing?
What we want to do in the basic research is understand the cause of the disease, understand the biology, what proteins are involved, and how do they conspire to interrupt the normal functioning of the brain. Because that's what we need to know how to treat it. Once we understand the disease, once we know the pathways that are involved, that's how we find the targets, and then we can look at ways to interrupt those. The goal of all of this is to find a treatment for the disease, and that's what we'll be able to do once we understand better how it's caused.
Well, we are certainly pulling for you all in your research in that. UABmedicine.org is a great resource and a website that you can go check out now. Dr. Roberson, again, thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure.